Apple held their Worldwide Developers Conference last week. Let's talk about it. For those that are not aware, Apple holds this week-long conference every year where it gives developers like myself insight into new products on their roadmap and how to leverage upcoming software that runs Apple products. During the keynote for this conference, they usually announce the next operating systems for all their hardware along with features and new products. This year, we didn't get any new hardware products. There was a main focus on the software, with the highlights being platform improvements, trust and safety, and Siri AI. Most people are going to focus on the Siri AI, but the thing that caught my attention was the trust and safety, mainly around the child safety features. They're giving parents the ability to create child accounts in Apple's ecosystem that unlocks parental controls that are age appropriate. You can now gain access to and control what kids see, who they talk to, and how long they have access to devices. This is great and all, but there's one major detail that they're leaving out. All these things don't work unless your child has their own devices. So yeah, my son gets his own Apple account, but what he's signing into? At the current moment, my kids use me and my wife's iPads. I'm not a big fan of giving my kids my phone because I'm team no case, but they sometimes get it when we're out in public. So the iPad is their main point of contact when it comes to Apple devices outside of the Apple TV. What I would love to see is for Apple to implement a multi-user feature on the iPad and maybe even the iPhone so that this new child account is a user that could sign in to the device. I could then control and monitor what my kids see and does on that device at any given time. I can limit how much time they can play on Apple Arcade. I can cut off certain apps that I don't want them to be on and limit what type of things they can view on the internet browser. And at the same time, it'll keep them off my dang on account and my dang on apps when they on my iPad. Game changer. Let's take this a step further. I would love for them to add the child account to the Apple TV. While there are restrictions, there is no real way for me to limit how much access they have to apps on the Apple TV. For instance, the Apple Arcade, it's unlimited. I would love to set that up like I have my PS5 set up. On the PS5, they each have their own profile. They can only play 45 minutes a day between certain hours. I can control what games they can and can't play, and I can monitor all of that from the PS Family app. But when they run out of playtime on the PS5, guess what they do? Hop on the Apple Arcade where it's unlimited. Adding a multi-user feature will probably eat into Apple's bottom line because then households will only need one iPad versus having one iPad per kid. We also could go out and get them that new MacBook Neo or an iMac, but to be honest, we don't need no more Apple devices in this household. So in conclusion, dear Apple, please add a multi-user feature on to the iPad and maybe even an iPhone, and then extend that child account and the parental controls to the Apple TV. Thank you. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know down below in the comments.